Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Royal Ascot here on Wednesday. It's the 19th of June, 2024. Going to look at the featured fourth race, the 425 from Ascot. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And join me throughout the week for some more Royal Ascot previews. Would have looked at all the stakes races today. Unfortunately, something came up, so I couldn't look at all the stakes races. But we'll be looking at the 425, the fourth race, which is a good one. It's one of the premier races of the week. So let's get to it right now. The 425, it's the Group 1 Prince of Wales Stakes. It's a Group 1 event going for a purse of just over $1.2 million, nearly 1.3. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. 10 horses are going 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter on the turf course. My top selection, I'm going to take the 10 horse in Spiral. She's going to get barrier 10 of 10 here. I'm going to go 10-2-4 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 10-2-4 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection 10 horse in Spiral. This 5-year-old mare by Frankel here. John Gosden trains. Kieran Schumark gets on this one. The horse's most recent outing came in the Group 1 lock-in against the boys at Newbury, a mile on the softer side of good turf course on the 18th of May. And the horse lost all chances at the beginning, finishing 4th by 12 3/4 lengths. Didn't get out of the gate so clearly, sat back early, moved a little bit late, but first off the bench, she doesn't really run her premier race. She needs a race to get under her belt if you go through her form cycle. Coming here second off the bench, back to a mile and a quarter where she freaked out Sansanita in the fall. I think she could get a trip to win. Keep in mind, the second place finisher Sharon was the next start winner yesterday in the Queen Anne Stakes, who placed behind the audience, who ran a terrific race, I thought, in the Queen Anne. Also, in the Queen Anne was the winner of the Lockage. So the format of the Lockage this year might be a decent one. Two back, terrifically she ran in Sansanita, a mile and a quarter on the Hillside Turf Course, 4th of November in the Breeders' Cup Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, winning by a neck that day. She sat back early, she was stupidly wide, but she had the turn of foot to win that day. An all-around good race. She likes lightning fast ground like she saw that day. We'll go through her form in a little bit, but she didn't like soft ground that she saw over the summer. It's like Goodwood. But, 3 back in the Sun Chariot at Newmarket over the mile on fast ground. She won by 3 3/4 lengths. Probably ran the race for her life that day from a tracking trip. When Frankie pushed the button, she flew home clear. A very good run. With the Prix-Jacques Maurice, off the quick turnaround, she won by 1 1/4 lengths that day and saw a little bit quicker ground than she saw in France and Goodwood the week prior. She didn't break so well that day, but she still really won quite nicely. And then a disaster in the Sussex at Goodwood. She finished 5th by 5 1/4 lengths. She didn't get out of the gate so clearly, and her wheels are spinning. She did not like the going that day. When she sees the lightning fast ground, that's when she improves a lot. She has won over this course here. She won the Falmouth, the Coronation Stakes here 2 seasons ago quite nicely by 4 3/4 lengths, basically from a good tracking trip, even after not the best beginnings. If she breaks today, she could be killer, but she's going to have to break today from barrier number 10 and 10. It's hard to win out there, but I think she can. I'm going to use her. I think the 2-horse August Rodin, can't speak, pardon me. It's been a long week. It's only Tuesday, I know, but August Rodin, the 4-year-old colt by Deep Impact. Brian trains when Ryan Moore gets him out. Was your Breeders' Cup Turf winner last year at Santanita over the mile and a half, winning by 3/4 length, closing up from nowhere. Ryan Moore rode a terrific race on the inside to win that day. Came back to run the Shahima Classic World Cup night at Dubai, where this horse stunk up the place. He never got going that day. Unfortunately, just not his day to win. Came back to running the Tattersalls Gold Cup at the Curragh a few weeks ago over the mile and a quarter. We had a decent second place finish by White Birch. My biggest question with him is I think he might want to run the mile and a half better than the mile and a quarter, but I do think coming here third off the bench, he can run a good race. He was run here at Ascot in the past once in the King George last year, where again he stunk up the place, where he just was wide and he just walked in the line. I think he saw a tired horse that day. He had quite a few races back to back. He ran horribly in the Guineas, came back to win the Derby, won the Irish Derby after that impressively, and then quick turnaround to the King George against Older Horse for the first time. He just kind of stunk up the place, but come back here, a little bit time between races, he could definitely win. But like I said, I do think his mile and a half trips are a little bit better than his mile and a quarter races, and I think the 4-horse Rising Door for Miguel Barcelona, this 4-year-old gelding by Darsharam here, he could get a trip to win. His race in the Prix d'Espagne at Longchamp over the mile on the 8th in May wasn't bad at all. He had a decent second place finish, closing up from nowhere from a tracking trip. Prior to the Prix Guinea, he probably needed the race that day, and then he had a very nice place in the Prix de Harcourt. If you look at his form last year, in those Group 2s, he wasn't running half bad, where he was finding good trips. I think he goes a lot with the ground, with the fast ground here today. He's drawn well. It wouldn't surprise me if a horse to upset your quaddy or pick four, your place pot or your quad pot here. He's a horse I would use there at 6-1. Let's use him also. But to recount my selection for the 425, the fourth race now from Royal Ascot, Group 1 Prince of Wales. Going to take the 10 horse in Spiral. Give kudos to the 2 horse Augustine Rodin and the 4 horse Horizon Door, 10-4 Tricast Trifecta, 10-4 in the quad pot pick 4, whatever we decide to play. That being said, good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everyone.